Right, okay. Topic 2. Sevagoth's shadow is pretty damn janky / floaty, and I kinda don't want to use it because of that. I'm not gonna do the intro, I'm just gonna skip to this.
Yay!
Right. The original post says, attack animations
I wasn't gonna mention it. I thought we were just gonna be professional and just go with it, but yeah, let's go with it.
Okay. Not quite sure if I'm gonna have to chop that out now. Anyway, attack animations break with attack speed. Is 2 having so much inertia that it just overshoots you and gets you stuck places. Is 2 not hitting anything despite passing right through a bunch of enemies. Either a wacky hitbox on the melee combos or really low range on the claws themselves. Some jank with parkour animations. Whoa, parkour, what? Okay. With parkour animations feeling rather sluggish. I'm also tossing this here, but his Shadow 1 is pretty great ability. Actually, yes, the 3 is okay too. For what it is.
It's just the second ability that this person's having a big issue.
Yeah. Is there much more detail on the
a little bit. Okay. So far, playing around with Mr. Edgy McKnifeface, I've been rather impressed with how he plays overall, but dear lord, the shadow form feels so rough to play as, and then so far I've got the point, which the list you've just had there. You know, hits 2, having so much inertia overshoots, you get stuck in places. Hit 2, not hitting anything despite passing through a bunch of enemies. You know, hitboxes, combos, animation speed, yeah, it's pretty much all there.
Yeah. I'll be honest, when I was playing Sevagoth in the Call of Tempestari, I wasn't overly struck with his. I swear his second ability wasn't doing shit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, let's take that. Let's just separate this bit out here while talking about the shadow thing, because the game does try and teach you about that in the Call of Tempestari quest with that music section, and it just dumps you in that bit with it. You can die, but you respawn instantly. Don't really see damage numbers, and then there's just mobs around you that die and respawn or whatever, and then it just says push 1, 2, and 3, or which is the default, and then you push these buttons and things happen, and remember 2 just makes you go ugh, and it's like, what? What did I do? Is that the damage ability? Is that debuffing? Did I miss? Did I what? It feels so loose, You're loose like.
It felt weird because his first ability is a pull.
Yep.
And his second ability is a dash.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason to have the dash is if you can't pull something. But if you can't pull it, why bother have the pull at all?
Yeah, no, I get you on that. It's so weird, isn't it? It's gonna take a sec, we're really gonna because we normally are so bad at remembering these things. Let's go. Let's because maybe we're missing something, right? Let's be good. Abilities, right? Shadow. Oh, right, okay. Number 1, brace, go see hands, pull enemy Jin. Duration 8 seconds, range 20 meters, 80% angle, pull angle. Nothing else to that, I don't think. Oh no, it does. No, nothing much. What's that? Right, consume. Dash through enemies. Rip out their souls to heal the shadow. You lunge forward 14 meters towards the aiming reticle if cast with the target, or dashes through a target's enemy within range by extending 25 energy. On contact with the target, energy consume, I'll read the highest. Consume inflicts 2,500 radiation damage and knockdown while healing the shadow's health pool by 25% of the damage dealt. Target soul is also ejected skyward. Body suffers confusion for some seconds.
Where are you reading this?
So you go to the wiki, you go abilities, you go shadow, and then click on the little arrow below. Tab.
Okay.
So while Gloom
Right.
is active and the Shadow Range and range, consume damage further heals the Shadow. While Sevagoth is bleeding at Tombstone, his Summon Clone altered to cast from the quick melee, fire weapons. Yeah, that's about it. And 3, inflict nearby enemies with a harrowing condition.
Indeed.
Yep. So, now that we just checked it, just in case we're missing something, because we're terrible for. What you actually realise is that this ability puts stacking targeted debuffs on the thing, and that if you hit 7 enemies within a 10-meter range, they then coalesce into a fusion bomb, and it blows up everything within a 50-meter range or something like that. You know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be anything like that. Ooh, yeah. As a playing with the ability, I found it very loose. It just, actually, let's expand this as well. I feel this is a bigger issue with the game and dash-like abilities, because Excalibur slash dash, which actually does do a bit of homing as well, it also feels the same these days. It's so useless. It just doesn't. There's interesting. I don't think it says anything about the width of it here. It just says it. Oh, where was it again? Lunges horizontally towards the aiming reticle. It doesn't seem to be anything about the width. Damage and steel, range affected by ability range. Now, it doesn't say if that's ranges in the distance or the range of the ability. This is the thing with slash dashes, that's how it used to work, and then they butchered it. The only other ones I can think of are Rhino's tackle thing, and then Hydroid's wave surge, tidal surge thing. Do people use these? I'd be curious to know if anyone playing these 4 frames, is there? I might have missed one. I don't know if there's another frame with a charge dash type ability. I guess. Gauss is sort of until it hits a wall. No, it doesn't really count either. Yeah, so I just feel these abilities are kind of redundant now, and they're all about moving a large distance, going whoosh. But you move quicker and easier thanks to parkour. That I don't think these abilities fulfill their role as much as they used to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with Wormhole. I feel that there's
in similar way.
I mean, it's just like, is there a utility aspect to these abilities that could be introduced into the game? Like, bullet jumping through a wormhole causes a black hole, and it just sucks in enemies, and they just don't come out, or what have you. I just don't.
But I mean, you could have this ability without the dash, you see.
Yeah.
And would it be worse, or would it be better because of it? It would just do a straight line. Does exactly the same thing, but you just don't move from A to B. And I feel that it used to be moving your character from A to B through whatever method, like say wormhole or whatever. That used to be a really cool thing because it was really useful to be able to have such freedom, such maneuverability. But Parkour 2.0 broke all the shackles, and so an ability which moves the character really, even if it moved you all the way across a map on the plains of Eidolon, I mean, yeah, maybe those ones have some uses, but in general play, abilities that move you are just annoying more than anything.
Yeah, I'm wondering if what could happen is they keep the dash, but instead of doing something slight, you basically you grab the enemies and you drag them with you, like, and effectively replace embrace and, well, basically merge embrace and consume into one ability. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you freed up a slot for something else entirely. So you're still dashing, but you're grabbing the enemies and dragging them with you. And then when you stop, you can then just start slashing them to bits.
Isn't that what Hydroid's one does, though? Hydroid's one push them along?
Potentially, yeah. But I mean,
But you're not just talking push them along a bit. You mean literally sort of gathers them all into a big pile.
Yeah. It's like oh, what's his name? Nidus's lava.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know how that like literally pulls everything together. It's effectively that. You've grabbed everything, you're dragging them, so you've dragged them with you, you've dumped them into a big pile, and then you just like, oh, now I will just consume you, I will eat you, you know? And maybe that's something. Maybe like consume could be, so embrace could be this dash with the grab, and then you murder everything. And consume is you just consume the corpses of everything that's dead around you, and you heal yourself.
Yeah, and it's got a very small range that you want to only do that either when you've killed a big enemy or when you've actually brought them all together.
Yeah, you heal for a percentage of the total maximum life points of all the enemies that are dead around you. That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the I mean that way you've kept the dashing component, and then you've made that next one more useful to get what you want directly for it. Because I feel that seeing as consume with dashing is the one about getting life. It's trying to dash over multiple mobs to get your health back is, especially when you want to go back and forward, it's so fiddly.
Yeah.
I think dash I think they need to review of the concept of dashing in this game. Well, maybe if they always maybe if there was any dash ability could go through barriers as well without triggering them, might be a useful thing. Because I know, because to be honest, it's even redundant these days because you've got the bloody operate. But allowing dash, rhino thing, hydroids, whatever, to allow you to pass through, the Grineer thingy shields and the Corpus trip shield, trip lasers, as if you weren't there, would be decent. You could say that you're in that moment you're surrounded by void energy. You're basically invisible. At least then they would have a separate purpose.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's hard to say because you play Oberon. Feet are firmly planted upon the floor, not moving.
Yeah, I wish.
Well, I meant, your character is not a movement Warframe, is it? But like any Warframe that does have movement-esque stuff, it just like /dash used to be. I mean, we've got that way back thing at the moment, telling you all your past stuff about your thing. If the game asked me in the first year or two what was the most usability, it'd be /dash. /dash. I used to love it. It was amazing. And then they changed it so it ping pongs between points, and I have used it probably less than 20 times in the last 4 years. It's just so useless these days. It's just, I try and use it and I'm like, but I could have shot things 5 times as quickly as this. Like, I'm gonna go over there, and then I'm gonna go over, and then I'm gonna... No. In that time, you're 10 miles away. It's so bad. But I think that's the other thing. The other thing about being very floaty, and the thing about the range, is maybe that it doesn't do a good job of the side range of the ability, which is probably a problem. Yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah.
So
I'm just wondering, are there any other Warframe abilities, like movement-esque abilities? Like, a part of me feels that Warframe abilities these days are really focused heavily on maximizing damage output, not really focused on utility.
yes,
I mean, the people that play Wisp, right? I see people play Wisp a lot, but the abilities that are used for Wisp are her reservoirs.
Yeah.
And I think whatever her explodey thing on the reservoirs is. But apart from that, like I never see anyone use the sun cannon, right? And I never see anyone do the dash, right? I think the dash is quite subtle, so it might be hard to catch.
Yeah.
But really, it's just the bloody reservoirs, because the reservoirs are so powerful as fuck.
Yep.
Right? And they're a utility thing.
Yeah.
Oh god, let's have a look at the.
Wait, do you say that people don't use abilities for utility, or do use them for?
No, they do use them for utility. Like,
No.
I'm
You meant
comparing
overall for Warframes or
utility.
Wisp. I can't remember what you said before you started talking about Wisp.
I feel that utility-based abilities have a lot more value.
Lot more value, yeah,
than
yeah.
damage dealing abilities, because hell, putting down whirlwinds as a Zephyr, you could just ignore them.
Yeah,
right.
I keep trying to get into Pro Tier, and I'm like, turret. It's like,
dead.
I could have. It's just like they last for 2 seconds. They go pew pew pew, and it just feels really weak. Whereas the dispenser, I'm doing a mobile defense, defense with people. We'll put down the dispenser. There we go. And if I ever get in trouble, I can rewind time really easily. But the whole grenade fan and turret, like, I could just shoot people.
Yeah,
it's quicker.
That's,
I can do it at longer range.
I really want to know, are there just some weird quirks to these abilities that just make them OP as fuck, or are they just naff?
It's more that I think that the amount of the problem is you're bringing so many damage sources into a mission. Primary or secondary, your melee, your arc gun, your necromech, your operator, your pet. Your abilities, which is the only thing I don't think I'm listing that. What was it when you mentioned? Sorry,
other players.
Oh, other players, yeah. And then your abilities. If I've got all these different methods of producing damage, my abilities, which is, it's a tricky balance. I just feel at the moment abilities are, I know that there's going to be some crazy ability that either Saren does or Equinox, which is like super meta damage, whatever. But for most Warframes, the damage is going to be like, well, I could cast this ability, which will do an arc cone of this, but in that time, my Kuvan Nukor just wiped out 3 map tiles. It's like, what's the point of them? So, but abilities which produce things weapons can't, like there's no gun in the game which spawns ammo boxes, or there's no gun in the game which buffs other players. So the Wisp producing the totems and your Pro Tier with the dispenser, they're producing things which your guns can't. So that's why they're so brilliant. They're so useful, so wanted.
Again, like Warframes like Aniros, where Aniros just goes, I'm now going to give myself more armor than the sun.
Yep.
Like, again, really useful. Warframes like Harrow, I'm going to make everyone invulnerable, right?
And give everyone damage buffs, yeah.
Yeah, but...
Harrow's the one I think that does it, where the damage abilities are normally buffs. They're not. I know, and the first ability, which is I think the only one which is direct damage, also chains people to the floor, which is a CC practical ability. The problem is like coming up with decent CC or too much CC, and I mean, what can you do? You can debuff the enemy, including CC it, and you can buff the players, including CC, but DCCing or giving them stuff. So just needs to be more things. Maybe a Warframe which did things to the environment, actually made physical objects that people can climb upon and things. Maybe that's something different.
I'd love to hear from our community. Like, please tell us what we're not understanding, because
sorry,
I just feel that there are so many things that we're not. I mean, hell, I finally got to understand how Garuda works.
Yep.
And it's like, she's kind of fun. Not my main go-to in terms of Warframes, but still. Anyway. Should we go straight to the replies?
Yeah, sure. I feel the same way, which is a shame, because I love edgy McKnight's look and design, but damn, he is janky to play. At this point, I'm forcing myself to play him just because I want to like him. Shadows 1 is still fun, though.
That's the pull, yeah.
Yep. Honestly, his Shadows 2 is the most annoying thing in the entire kit. Its range is pitiful if you're actually trying to target something, but you will get launched 3 times the distance to the enemy if they are 1 inch out of range. Yeah, see, it's a
right.
Thank you about it. He needs more windows where he can jump, cancel out of swings. He needs the hitbox fixed on his claw swings because they hit farther sideways than they do forwards. His jump slashes are also extremely inconsistent too. I've been testing him non-stop since his release, and the best way to play his Shadow in its current state, in my opinion, is to cast Gloom in a good spot in the area, go into shadow form and spam Embrace and kill those ragdolled enemies with heavy attacks. It's pretty effective there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever played the game called Risk of Rain 2, but in there's a robot character named Mul T who has a similar problem. All characters in the game have the same base movement speed, but Mul T is bigger and has a wider field of view than the other characters, so he feels slower. Huh. They're saying it's a perception issue. I haven't played that much on Sevagoth. I'll have to give it another go, but I'm not sure if that is, but yeah.
Interesting.
I will have to give it a more go. If you've had some go with Sevagoth and some interesting points you want to raise about it, please let us know by writing in the description of this video, and we will read it and get back to it maybe next week. I think maybe have you got Sevagoth?
Yeah, I do.
Right. I think maybe we'll have another go ourselves, and we'll see you for next week. If you guys know, then let us know. So I think that is the end for this topic. So if you would like to listen more to us, please like and subscribe this video. The main podcast episode is also on this channel, so have a look in. There are timestamps, so you can skip this topic and go to the other sections where we've had another topic to discuss. There's also memes, community shout-outs, and other things. You can also win some platinum in the main podcast, so please check it out if you have some time. If not, we'll see you next time.
Yep.